Before we begin this tale of shadows, take a moment to subscribe to the channel. It costs nothing, but helps keep the stories alive and the nightmares coming. If you enjoy unsettling tales that blur the line between reality and the unknown, leave a like. It lets us know you're listening, and that you're ready to open the door to the things that wait in the dark. This is not just a story, it's a warning. So turn off the lights, put on your headphones, and whatever you do, don't look at the house next door for too long. Let us begin. I moved into house number 108 on Cherry Hill Street during the dying days of November. It was one of those grey, bone-cold afternoons when the clouds press down on the rooftops and the wind cuts like a knife. Everything about the move was supposed to be a fresh start, a new chapter, a desperate attempt to outrun grief. The house was beautiful on paper. 2 stories, a wraparound porch, a modest backyard, and a freshly painted white fence that gave it the charm of a suburban dream. But dreams can lie, and some houses carry things that the blueprints never mention. I had recently lost my wife, Isabel, a sudden aneurysm while she slept. One moment she was there beside me, breathing softly. The next morning she was cold, gone. 7 months had passed since, and the silence she left behind grew louder every day. So I moved to escape the weight of a home that now echoed with memories and regret. But what I found on Cherry Hill was something far more terrifying than sorrow. From the beginning, something about the house next door unsettled me. Number 110. It sat heavy with stillness. The windows were always covered with dark curtains. The grass was yellowed, brittle. A sold sign leaned slightly forward in the lawn, though it looked like it had been there for years. There was no car in the driveway, no lights, no people, just a house that stood there like a corpse with its eyes open. At first, I assumed it was empty. Maybe the owners had yet to move in, but then came the light. Exactly at midnight, not a minute before or after, a light would turn on in the second-floor window. A single, dim yellow bulb. It stayed on for 13 minutes. Then it vanished, leaving the house in darkness once more. It happened again the next night, and the next. I started watching, sitting by my bedroom window, counting the seconds. 13 minutes every time. No shadows, no movement, just the glow of that lone light. A beacon in a house that should have been dead. I asked around. The mailman, an older guy with tired eyes, shrugged and said, "People buy that place all the time, but no one stays." Then he looked at me and added, "Wouldn't recommend watching it too long." It sounded like a joke, but his eyes weren't smiling. Things escalated quickly after that. One night, around 3:17 in the morning, I woke up to a faint tapping noise. Tap, tap, tap. It came from the wall behind my bed. The wall that faced house 110. I pressed my ear against it. There it was again. Rhythmic, soft, almost patient. I got up and looked out the window. There was someone or something standing in the yard of the house next door, tall, motionless, cloaked in black. Its head was tilted slightly, unnaturally, like a bird listening for prey. Even from a distance, I could feel its attention locked onto me. And then, without any movement, it vanished. The next morning, I told myself it was a dream. Stress, sleep deprivation, maybe some kind of grief-induced hallucination. But then I found the note. Tacked to the gate of house 110, barely flapping in the breeze, was a yellowed scrap of paper with red ink. 4 words: "You're looking too much." My blood went cold. I tore it down and shoved it into my pocket, looking around. No one was outside. The street was dead silent. That night, I barricaded my doors and windows, slept with a kitchen knife under my pillow. But I didn't sleep well. At exactly 3:17, I heard breathing from inside the wall. Low, rattling, human. I jumped out of bed, my heart punching through my chest. I called out, but no one answered. I slammed my fist against the wall, but the breathing didn't stop. It just got quieter, closer. The next day, I went to the town library and asked to see property records. The librarian, a frail woman with thin lips, hesitated before leading me to the archive basement. There, I found the name, Leonard M. Carter, the last confirmed resident of House 110. He lived there from 1989 to 1997. A retired history teacher, unmarried, no relatives. According to an old article, 2 young girls disappeared in the neighborhood during the fall of '97. The last place they were seen. Carter's house. Police investigated. They searched the property from top to bottom, found nothing. No evidence, no traces. Carter denied everything. A week later, he vanished too, gone without a trace. Left behind his clothes, car, everything. Neighbors claimed the house had strange noises at night, doors that slammed, whispers. Eventually, it went back on the market, sold over and over, but no one stayed. I was beginning to understand why. That night, the tapping became pounding. I followed the sound into the hallway. It led to the attic door. Against every instinct, I climbed the creaky ladder and stepped into the darkness. Smelled like rotting wood and mildew. The air was heavy. I saw writing on the wall, scratched into the beams, there, in the walls. Suddenly, a loud knock came from behind me, inside the attic wall. I stumbled down, heart racing. I called the sheriff the next morning, a weathered man in his 60s. Sheriff Bill Norton listened to everything with an expressionless face. When I finished, he let out a long sigh. "I've heard stories," he said, "but never from anyone who lasted more than a week next to that house." Still, he agreed to come with me to investigate. When we reached House 110, he knocked. No answer. The door was unlocked. We stepped inside. The air inside felt wrong. Stale, yes, but something deeper, like the kind of stillness you only find in a sealed tomb. The walls were covered in old, peeling wallpaper. No furniture, no photos. Just empty rooms and creaking floors. Then we found it in the living room, sat a wooden chair turned toward the wall. And on that chair, an old cassette recorder. The sheriff pressed play. A voice, hoarse and panicked, emerged from the static. "There in the house, they watch me, they whisper through the floors. I tried to leave, but the house it holds on. They want me here, they feed on fear, they remember everyone." Then came a long scream, followed by the sound of children crying, and then silence. Sheriff Norton looked pale. He turned off the recorder and mumbled, "This place should have been burned down years ago." He locked the door behind us, told me to stay away, said he'd file a report. But I shouldn't expect anyone to come back. That was 2 nights ago. Last night, a doll appeared on my front porch, old, torn, missing one eye. Written on its dress, in faded blue ink, Lucy, the name of one of the missing girls. And now they speak to me. In whispers. In dreams. In the walls. I've stopped sleeping. I've started seeing things out of the corner of my eye. Shadows that flicker and vanish. Fingers pulling back my curtains. I hear my name being spoken when no one is home. The house is getting closer. It doesn't need you to enter. It just needs you to notice it. And once you do, it's too late. This morning, I found a mirror fogged over in my bathroom. I hadn't taken a shower, I hadn't used the sink, but written in the fog, with invisible fingers, "You belong to us now." I think the house next door is more than haunted. I think it's alive, and it's hungry.